Bugging out is not camping. Welcome aboard. This is the Art of Prepping. I appreciate you joining me today. I know of all the channels to watch and all the things you can do in your life to spend time with me is a great thing, and I really do appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. Why do people think that bugging out is camping? Over the years, talking to friends and family, reading various survival forums, watching countless videos, probably too many, and especially reading the comment section, you get lots of people who say, if it gets that bad, I'll just go camping. Just like I've heard before of, I just get so hungry, I'll just go fishing. Well, maybe it's actually like snowy outside and full of ice, and there's no way to fish, and there's like really undesirable times of the year to go camping, but we'll get into that. So let's just first, build the foundation here of this video that when you bug out, it's not a choice. Typically, there's a threat that's so imminent that you have to go. There are some situations it's just a precautionary event or action that you will do. But unlike, camping, which is a choice, you can say, well, I'm just not feeling it this week. Next weekend, I'll go camping. But when you're bugging out, you typically just have a matter of minutes, maybe an hour or two, if you really have a heads up on the event, which is sometimes rare. But you don't really have a choice. So, a lot of people who think that they have like the ability just to optimally deal with any situation, it'll kind of hit you real fast and maybe catch you off guard. The next thing is the mental stress of leaving your home and going into the unknown. When you leave your house, though, when you go camping, you know that you can come back at any time. And you know that there's no threat to your home, at least when you leave. Now, you may have left on, the stove and burnt your house down by the time you came back, but you didn't think that, that was the problem. You didn't have that in the whole mindset. And it's unlikely, anyways, that you're going to damage your home when you leave, when you go camping. But it is a very high possibility that whatever the threat in the area, it could be a weather system or a man-made disaster, maybe a chemical spill or something, could affect your home. So you don't know if your home is going to still be there or not, or what condition it is. So the whole time you're supposedly bugging out, or in some people's mind, camping, you don't really know what's going on in your own property. And so there's a lot of stress there, which is very unlike actual camping, which is supposed to be a leisure activity. The next thing would be the undesirable time of year that this could happen. Now, it's one thing that if you like to go camp in the snow and go winter hiking and things like that, and that's one thing. But if you're not wanting to go out and be in the cold weather, camp in the snow, or in the middle of a snowstorm, that's one different thing. So that's completely undesirable. So, you're not going to really enjoy any of this, especially if you have to travel many miles. Now, the next thing is health. You actually may not be feeling that well when you actually have to bug out, because these things are very just random when these things happen. So your health could be maybe not optimum at all. I mean, you could be, fighting a fever. You could actually be recovering from a broken bone. Maybe maybe one of your legs are broken and you have to bug out. So you can see right here how quick life actually gets in the way to be in the optimum condition to deal with a bug out situation. What about your supplies? Does your supplies actually meet your needs? I mean, how many people do you really know have their bug out bag actually finished? It's really ready to go, and it'll actually give you everything you really need for an unspecified amount of time. But for a bug out, we're just going to say, 3 to 5 days, probably max. But still, do you really know people who have that ability? Now, if you're into prepping for a bit of time, you may know more people than others, but typically, most Americans do not have supplies ready. At the most, they may have a few things in their car. That's becoming more commonplace. But in your home, it's just, believe it or not, people just don't have go bags. or any type of bag system. Now, this is the thing. When we talk about we go camping, I don't know about you, but typically I'm thinking about like 2 days, 2 nights is very typical because of the weekend. People work. And so you might be able to go like, Friday afternoon and then spend the night camping. Friday night going into Saturday, you spend all Saturday and then you spend the night on Saturday night. And about midday on Sunday, you head back home because you got to clean up, put away the camping gear, and get ready for the next day, which typically is part of the work week. Now, a bug out situation just may not be fitting that format at all. It could be in the middle of the week, and it could literally last for many days, much more than maybe your traditional camping time frame. And so bugging out could be a lot longer than you anticipate. And this is something that they try to put this in a little box and they say, well, bugging out, it's only a 72-hour event. Well, by definition, that's just a parameter that someone made up. That doesn't mean at all, that that's how it's going to actually be. Your bug out location. This is something that's missing from a lot of plans. This is something that you need to actually develop. So instead of just camping, possibly in the worst weather conditions possible, it'd be really nice to actually have a place to go. And this also goes hand in hand with having a bug out vehicle. Wouldn't that be awesome if you could actually just camp in this vehicle that could be climate controlled, maybe a type of RV or recreational vehicle, or at the minimum, even just having a nice, full-size vehicle, maybe like a cargo van or a super cab pickup truck that you could actually camp in there. I mean, that's definitely a thing. So we need to go back to just like we would have a planned how we're going to camp out for the weekend, we need to have a very detailed plan covering various scenarios of how to bug out. So bugging out planning is critical. And just as that, having a backup bug out plan, in some places, you may even want to have multiple backup plans depending on how extreme things can be. And so this is just something that I cannot highlight enough. We have to highlight that double. Now, the next thing is the appropriate emergency gear for you. Kind of harping on that again, there's a lot of people who buy the pre-made kits, and I'm not knocking you because at least you're doing something. But when you get down into brass tacks, there could be some massive gaping holes of ability that you're not going to be able to do. You just can't you can't do things if you don't have the materials or the tools to do it. So we need to be really brutally honest to ourselves. If you do have a pre-made kit and you haven't even gone through it and you haven't added anything to kind of customize it, to really tweak it, I highly recommend you to take the weekend, this coming up weekend, just give yourself a few hours to dump all the contents out and actually see what you actually bought and write down every category of need and see if you have all the things to cover those needs. I guarantee you won't have all the things you need, and you'll probably want to upgrade things. I'm sure you'll also want to add a lot more, And so this is so critically important that you actually know what you have. If not, you're going to be out in the wilderness or out in God knows where, even in urban areas, in worst case scenarios, and you think you might actually have everything you need, and you don't. Thanks for watching.